I'm Zachary Melton. I play guitar and I sing in Rodeo Ruby Love.
Alright, Zach, how did you guys come up with the name Rodeo Ruby Love?
My grandmother, her name is Ruby Melton, and before she married my grandfather, her name was Ruby Love. I thought that was a pretty awesome name, so I just kind of ran with that. And Rodeo is actually my second favorite Garth Brooks song, and I just kind of put the two together.
Awesome. So, what has been your favorite part of the tour?
Playing. I mean, it's been a pretty long, exhausting tour. A lot of long drives. So when you're going on a couple hours of sleep, the best thing that you can have is just playing in front of a lot of people. So it's been really fun.
All right. What is the craziest thing you've ever done?
On tour or in general?
In general.
When I was in high school, I pooped in a shoebox and dumped it over an overpass onto a semi-truck. I don't know if that constitutes crazy. I'm not a very wild person, so that's about all I got.
Alright, so what was the first concert you've ever attended?
The first concert I remember, I was 11 years old, and my dad took my sister and I to see the Wallflowers and Counting Crows. And August and Everything After by the Counting Crows is still one of my all-time favorite records.
Alright, what's the best piece of advice that you've been given by someone?
Piece of advice. Probably Kurt Vonnegut in Slapstick. In the introduction he says, love is where you find it. I think it's poisonous to go out looking for it. I think, a lot of people have given me some good advice, but that's probably the best thing I could say as far as like living. Like, there's no reason to go out trying to find what you already have. It's right there. You just gotta acknowledge it.
Yeah. Alright. What or who inspires you to write music?
A lot of different things. A lot of books that I read. I get our last record. There's a lot of there's a book I read about the Great Plains and the Great Depression, and another book I read about the Galveston hurricane in 1900, I believe. A couple songs about that, and so books, friends, family. Basically, just the older I get, the less personal it gets. Because I think I stopped feeling like writing songs about girls. That was definitely the beginning, and then it's slowly like, all right, I've written enough about girls, and then you find inspiration other places and in the people around you and the things that I read. So.
Okay. 3 important things that you need to take on tour.
Man, somebody else asked me this, and it's really basic, like toothpaste and a sleeping bag. And a good attitude, I guess.
Alright.
There's not a whole lot that's like, for me, I need a book to read on tour, at least one, and a sleeping bag, and probably toothpaste, toothbrush.
What bands have inspired you to do what you do?
Musically, I think I was pretty inspired by the Indiana hardcore scene. There's a band called In the Face of War that we grew up with. Grew up going to their shows, and so that's where I think we get a lot of our energy and a lot of our stage presence is with the shows where people just jumped around and bumped into each other, and also I really love the sound of live 60s records, Otis Redding, and probably one of my favorites is Aretha Franklin live at the Fillmore West. Where it's just like, it's such a party, and it's so like, everybody's having a good time, and people in the crowd are hooping and hollering, the people on stage are just like, just nailing it, and that's kind of what I want to bring out, is, even if it's heavier music or poppier music or whatever, to kind of bring out that attitude of just like, this is a show, this is a good time for everybody to have, on stage, off stage, everybody should be having a great time.
How did you feel with the mosh pit tonight?
I don't mind, but it's also like not really mosh music, and there's like 3 people trying to do it, and a lot of people looking really like, what are you trying to do?
Exactly.
I normally don't say things like that, but it looked like some people were getting frustrated, so I just said, maybe not do it right now.
Well, I've actually been to a Never Show, and he's got nice slow songs, and people try to mosh, so I'm like, how do you do that?
Yeah, I've been to some shows where people have yelled you know, don't do this. It's like, you can do whatever you want at a concert. That's fine. Um, but be courteous. Be mindful of who's around you. If they want to mosh, then mosh with them. If they don't, then go somewhere else.
Alright, what are some of the bands that you would love to see on your dream tour?
On my dream tour? Whew. That's a tough one. A lot of my favorite bands are defunct now, but Boilermaker, I would love to see. At the Drive-In was one of the bands that first got me into liking music. Highball, and let's see, maybe Mount Erie. I really love Mount Erie. That would be a weird tour, I think. It would be fun.
Alright, who's the most important person in your life and why?
That's a heavy question. I don't know if there's one specific person. I mean, I'm really close with my family, so my mom and my dad and my sister. That was my sister singing with me tonight, and she's pretty up there. And her husband, my girlfriend, the guys in my band. You know, I don't know if there's one specific person that's like above all the rest, but definitely like there's a small group of people that I keep close.
Okay. Now, do you consider your friends, your fans, family, or friends?
Do I consider my fans?
Yes.
Family or
your
friends? I mean, my family are fans and my friends are fans, but there's also people that I don't know that like your music that I wouldn't say is either. But I wouldn't be opposed. You know, it's always interesting getting to know people. I mean, that's part of the whole reason I got into playing music and playing shows is you get to meet so many cool people, and like a lot of my friends now are people that I met at shows when I was 16 years old, and I hope that it would be awesome if I could be a part of that on the other end, where somebody goes to my shows and that's where they become friends with somebody, and that would be awesome to be that type of facilitator.
Okay. What has been your favorite tour memory so far?
On this tour?
On this tour.
We haven't had a lot of time for anything on this tour. Honestly, probably just getting to know the other guys. You know, I think we were pretty intimidated coming on to this, and you know, not thinking we're good enough to be on this sort of tour, and just like sitting down with some of the guys from Streetlight and Real Big Fish and having like actual conversations has been incredible for me. Like, especially my self-esteem, just realizing like these are normal dudes, and they actually like the music that I make, which is insane. And usually, like, we're playing like Foursquare, playing sports, or doing something active, and I haven't done that yet. So once I do that, that'll probably be my favorite thing on tour so far, but I haven't done anything so far.
Alright. What is the best way for you to wind down at the end of the day?
I like to drink an Arnold Palmer, and I also like to play NBA 2K11, and that's a good way to wind down. I also like, if it's nice out, sit on the porch and read while drinking Arnold Palmer. Arnold Palmer is a very big part of my life.
Alright. Best tour prank that you've pulled?
Tour prank? I'm not good at tour pranks. Let's see. There was a few years ago, this isn't really a prank, this is just me being idiotic, but we were in Florida and we were going up this really steep bridge, and I was convinced that it was a drawbridge, and I was freaking out to the point where everybody else started to believe that it was a drawbridge and that we were just going to go sailing off the end of it. And but there's a video somewhere of everybody just screaming their heads off, and I'm just like, turn around, you gotta turn around, and somebody else is yelling, ramp it, ramp it. And not really a prank, just kind of me being an idiot. So I don't know if that works.
That's okay. You know, that's a lot of people don't have tour pranks because they're like, I'm afraid if I prank anybody, it's gonna come back to me.
I'm not afraid to prank somebody. I'm not very creative in that realm. I wouldn't know what to do, like tie their shoelaces together or something mean.
Well, we've gotten people that have actually said they've peed in bags and tossed it up their other van while they're driving.
I would not do that. I would do something like move their bookmark in their book, and then, you know, like snicker to myself, like, I got them.
Yeah. Okay, so what's the first job you had?
I had a few odd jobs in high school. I worked at a cemetery, and I also worked at a campground washing dishes. But then, like, the first actual job I got was at a toy store called Kids at Heart that nobody came into, and so I just had to sit there. My boss ended up buying a GameCube and a little screen, so I would just play video games while I was on the clock because we just sold the crappiest toys that nobody wanted. And that lasted for about 3 months, and then the toy store shut down.
What is your biggest fear?
The biggest fear? I could go a couple ways. I'm afraid of a lot of things, but one of my biggest fears about being on tour is somebody getting hurt or passing away back home. And if it were somebody else, we might be able to continue the tour. But if it were me, it would be, not to downplay anybody else's family or friends who would pass away, but we would have to stop everything. And we actually had a huge scare the first night of this tour in Houston. My mom called me, and my cousin got in this horrible accident where her boyfriend passed away, and she was in critical condition. And it was like, this is my worst fear coming true. Outside of that, like in general, I'm terrified of heights and spiders. And my bandmates will let you know that if I see a spider, I turn into a girl pretty quick.
Actually, a lot of people are afraid of spiders. So.
They're horrifying and gross. I don't like thinking about it. Yeah. Next question.
All right. Have any tattoos?
Yes. Kurt Vonnegut, right there. State of Indiana. And above my heart is, in Hebrew, the word Temshel, which is from John Steinbeck's East of Eden, which means I have a choice.
All right. That's awesome. 2 more questions. One's a fun question, and one's a serious question. The fun question is, if you woke up the opposite sex, what would you do and how would you react?
That's a good question. If I woke up the opposite sex, I'd probably do things that girls get away with, like flirting and getting things for free, and kind of being a bitch, but no one can really say anything, or that sort of thing. No offense, girls. Or I'd probably just go tell my friend that this is funny, and make them touch my boobs and stuff.
All right. What can people expect from you guys for the rest of 2011 and beginning of 2012?
We actually just got confirmed today, right before the show, that we're going on tour in December with Streetlight and Real Big Fish again. I think they're doing some of the cities that they did hit on this tour. So we'll be out on the road at the end of the year, and hopefully back in the studio in early spring, work on our next release.
All right.